Here we go, ladies and gentlemen, in the right-hand corner. Weighing in at, I don't know how many pounds, but he's got a lot of pounds of skill in those fingertips. It is the one, the only, TheMista. And those stats are insane. Who made those? Is this guy crazy? 96 overall. His opponent today. His brother. He likes to refer to him as. He's from the Aces team as well. It is the Rapple. Another incredibly high-level player. Ladies and gentlemen, Rapple, he's got nothing to really hide here from TheMista. TheMista knows he's going to be facing here some sort of Chronos Rush. Rapple's just going to go for it. He's going to say, let's just play this game as straight up as I possibly can, and we'll deal with it. Over here for TheMista, he's showing his temple up himself. Slightly later than the Rapple, it's going to be exactly the same advance time as the food comes through. Oceanus in, and Prometheus on the way. So, no significant damage to come through. Why? Well, there's going to be a Caladria. I love that play from TheMista as well. There's going to be a Caladria here for TheMista to just defend everything up, and he can just put a building down. No problems. Why do I love this play so much? Well, he shot the giraffe back. Unfortunately, he didn't kill it over there. He shot the giraffe back underneath the town center to be a little bit more safe. Yeah, but unfortunately, decided it wanted to walk a little bit back. But we got the mana coming up as the upgrades are going to be in momentarily. Rapple is saying, I'm going to leave 2 villagers on food, pop over here onto this wood line, and we'll start working things out afterwards. Now, I have heard people say you've got to go through Prometheus in this matchup, but obviously Mr. says, no, Oceanus. Oceanus is the way to go. That's what he wants. But nonetheless, there's that Caladria coming through. We've got the counter barracks up very quickly here for TheMista. Big advantage for the Uranus on the defense here is they don't have to time shift. However, if you do have a mana helping you build this counter barracks, it does come through just a little bit quicker. As Mista doesn't even want to mess around here. He just says, hey, I will jump onto some goats. It's fine. I don't want to take any damage. Let me just jump onto some goats, keep my villagers training. No problems. He has a little tiny bit of damage onto that one over here as the Oracle heroes going to be beating up each other over onto this side. No way to fight back here against that Oracle because you do have that Caladria as the deconstruction there onto the counter barracks, and another counter barracks is going to immediately come up. So this does give a little bit of a timing advantage now on to Rapple. He's going to be able to pump out those Terma, and we will be seeing a little bit of a Terma war here, ladies and gentlemen. The micro in these sort of fights is really, really difficult. As Mr. does manage to pick off Promethean offspring there, or Promethean turning them into Promethean offspring, and he's just going to be pulling back. So far, so good for TheMista in terms of the defense. Gets himself up now the counter barracks. And reality here, you basically can only build Terma. There is an angle to go into Catapultes early, but you're playing a Caladria like sort of defense idea, sort of similar to what we saw from B versus Soup. With that Susanoo idea, you're actually playing for a whole bunch of Caladria to heal up the Catapultes and charge down against everything. Great control here from TheMista. Great Valor there, though, from the Rapple. Low HP Terma back up to full HP, continuing along another mana to come in, but these units will simply just get their HP back. And there is always going to be this shockwave to come through very, very shortly. Yeah, there was a tiny little bit of idle time for Mr. on his food situation, so he did actually get a tiny bit of idle town center time. But the villager differential is equal as another counter barracks makes its way in. Now, because Rapple is heroizing his Terma here, he's not heroizing his villagers, so he's not getting any sort of economic lead behind all of this. Now, obviously, Mr. has to make a couple of hero Terma as well to deal with those Promethean offsprings. Personally, I think I prefer to see a Catapulti hero than the Terma heroes. Now, these do have low pierce armor, but Catapulti heroes speedy, healable, all the good stuff. But still poking the front line down. Great spacing from the Mista. Rapple here in the main base, doing what he can. Getting all of those resources in. It is just a Terma spam war. The Titans coming through here actually for the Rapple as the Terma numbers charging for. It's trying to find something to snipe here, something to hit. But Rapple with that Heart of the Titans, what is the idea there? Like obviously a whole bunch of Terma to come in and get that damage and takes down another Promethean offspring. So not quite able to take any actual Terma out, but the numbers have kind of become equal here. And now all of a sudden, there's going to be great usage there of the Terma. There's going to be a Carnivora and a Shockwave available momentarily. And the Mista is just holding on to onto this usage for dear life. He's just like, I don't want to use it. I want to get max value. Let me just chip away, take down the Prometheus, chip away, and then eventually we will drop the Shockwave, we will drop the Carnivora, and it's going to be a very tough fight for Rapple to take. Now, medium range soldiers to come through for Mista. He's already got that in, which does give you an extra little bit of range, which one range advantage, well, I don't need to really say much other than it's everything. You cannot take this fight without the range advantage. There's that Shockwave onto the backside there. Carnivora gets dropped down. Rapple has to sit here and just take it. He's got the Prometheans to come forward. And the military advantage here now for Mista after that initial God Power usage is just through the roof. As the Terma pulling back. Nice little chase down from Rapple to get some return fire in, but he's not quite able to get enough value back. And now Mista in the lead on the Terma War and adding in the Catapultis. This is just charging forward. Good control from Rapple to poke down that back line there as the Catapultis onto both sides. A little bit of revenge fire in as the army sort of distracted over here by the reinforcements, but isn't this totally great control there? But he does actually keep it alive. No, he doesn't. Great control there from the Mista as I mean, I don't even know how else to say it. I feel like Rapple is just getting out-controlled in this game. At least at the start of the game. Right now, Rapple behind on military, has to somehow deal with those Caladria, unfortunately shooting off into the stratosphere here. Mr. Shooting, scooting. Takes down one. Oracle, almost. But the Catapultis on top of the Terma is not what you want. You really don't want to be sitting here just taking that damage. Both players got so much to control on this front here. Over here we see a little bit of an attempt from Mista to take out some other units over on this side. And now both players are starting to drop units pretty quickly here. As Rapple has clawed his way back to equality here. We do have that weightless mace coming through now for the Mista. And the game is as close to equal as it's going to be. Both players, 40 villagers. Both players, equal on military. 3 oracles apiece here. There are 3 Caladria, which still help out on this defense as the temple is going to get brought back home. You don't want to be losing that anytime soon. So we're going to make their way over onto this side as the Sky Passage might have been spotted by Rapple. No, he's just going to check it out. He doesn't know anything's up here. But these citizens can obviously just jump into the Sky Passage, no problems. Back into the home base. Eat a goat for a little bit. Deconstruction? Hello? Opportunity missed there from the Rapple, unfortunately. Opportunity missed. That could have been huge. Another sky passage in the center of the map here for the Mr. as he wants to start thinking about grabbing himself some gold. Of course, if you drop deconstruction, the villagers will simply just rebuild the sky passage, but you're going to get at least a citizen kill, if not more, with that amount of turret. And that's the only advantage you can realistically get. Now, from deconstruction at this point in the game, as you can see, another carnivore getting dropped down. Shockwave onto that position as well. As the catapulti do need to get brought back. And now, Mr. does not have an answer to the Carabalistic here. He's just lost all of his Terma. He's lost all of his Terma, and now Rapple has got a gigantic lead in military. He's now got 1,000 resources, and he beat the Shockwave Carnivora combo. Now some more oracles to actually come out for Rapple. He wants a little bit more favor income. It makes sense. There's no more Valors really left. He probably wants to make some more Prometheans here. The Mr. needs some more Terma to actually deal with the Carabalistic. The Catapultis are good. Without Carnivora, maybe he missed it. If you drop the Carnivora down onto a Carabalista, that's like your max value Carnivora or something like that. So Mr. does get spotted with this citizen. Whether or not Rapple actually saw that, there is a random oracle over here, and he did see it. Not going to be allowing that citizen to get a sky passage up anytime soon. Up onto the top side here. Thundercloud sure getting uncovered. That's a pretty important relic in this matchup, but nonetheless, one citizen goes down as Rapple manages to find himself an advantage. It's a small advantage, but he finds himself an advantage. One citizen. The only issue here for the Rapple is weightless mace catapultis. Take a look at these bad boys. Can I see one? No. Just want to see one catapulti. 5 speed right now, and he doesn't have Empyrean speed. If you get that Empyrean speed in, they go up to 5.25 speed. If you heroize them, they go up to 5. Wait. I feel like they go up even more than that. Hang on. What are they on? They got to 5. Yeah, they got to 5.5 speed with that Empyrean speed at the very least. Maybe it's more than that. Maybe it's like 5.75. Anyways, he can absolutely dominate these Terma with that upgrade because they're going to be able to chase them down. At 5 speed versus 5 speed, it doesn't really matter. You can just run. But when they've got that speed, it's a completely different story. However, the reinforcements coming in, Murmillo's in the mix. Mr. not paying attention to those Terma does get pushed back ever so slightly up onto the top side, scouting with the Caladria, trying to find something going on. Does manage to pick off one Carabalista there for free, but his units are now out of position. There's no Terma. Sorry, no Sky Passage up there. But he does have the speed to kind of just run away. No problems. Charging it over onto this position now. Looking for multiple fights on multiple different fronts here. The military differential is equal. Lots of resources in the bank here, though, for both players. Because it could be time for like a town center, heroic age, something like that. But here's the thing. Mr. is caught out of position. He does have Shockwave. He does have a Carnivore. He's got the favor for both. These units need to get over here. Spots an Oracle at the very least to take that one out. Heroizing the Oracle to keep it alive, though, as Mr. is trying to keep himself going here. He's trying to delay. Drops the Carnivora as the reinforcements come in, taking out the Carabalista. Mr. is now, at the very least, able to take an equal fight here, as the micro is everything at the moment. Catapultis here are going to be able to churn through the Terma, but the Murmillo are going to be able to do the same onto the Mista, as they should then be able to take the advantage versus those Catapultis. But it looks like, I don't even know how to call this one. The military differential is so close, but the Murmillo numbers, they have to mean something at the moment. And they do mean something, as Mr. realizes, I've dealt with all the Terma. I've got to get out of here. He's actually clicked up to the heroic age behind this. Little bits of fights into the center as well. As a heroic age for the Mista means chaos, means satyr, there's an equal military differential here. Somehow, some way, being behind 2 citizen, losing a citizen, putting sky passages up, and all the other good stuff, Mista has managed to squeeze out a heroic age advantage. But what he needs now is, yes, Karabalista to deal with these Murmillo. They are really powerful. Or his own Murmillo wouldn't be a terrible idea with Bite of the Shark. And the Caladria can heal up all these units after the fight, bailing on this gold mine, no problem. He has this sky passage over here to get over onto this position. No problems there. Does not need to really be concerned. He can wait as long as he wants. Rappel here, upgrades coming through. He's got a military advantage. He's just pumping units here. But this only works if you can get some economic damage done onto your opponent. Because this tech here is going to pay for itself. You've got Chaos, that does damage. You've got Satyr, they do damage. They're worth stuff. And more Satyr are going to be coming through. Up onto this top side. A couple of Terma harassing the precariously placed farms from the Rappel. We have to ask some questions about why these farms are here. Of course, it's value for him. He doesn't have to walk. That's one of the big advantages of playing Atlantean, as the deconstruction does get dropped down onto that sky passage that does not want to be allowing any of that stuff to be used for taking advantage of the Terma. Try to get forward, try to snipe the Karabalista. A great control there from the TheMista to pull those back outside of range of the Terma. The Satyr is getting big damage here. Caladria trying to heal up the Karabalista as well, as they're just not able to be taken out by that amount of Terma here. He picks off one. The Satyr going to be taking out the rest of the Terma. Military differential favoring the TheMista after that fight. And Rappel has to pull back. Wait, can you time shift farms? You absolutely can time shift farms. You're not wrong. And now Rappel, economy completely awry. He's trying to get to the heroic age himself. He's making a whole bunch of Mamili, but he needs nothing but gold here. This gold mine's got 2,300 left in it. There's a couple more buildings to come down, and Rappel actually says, I don't think I can get there. But this is just a problem for the for Rappel, no? Like, how is he going to take fights? He's behind on military. He doesn't have the answers to what Mista's got out here. He needs his own heroic age to some degree. The walls are up over here now for the Rappel. He's going to be somewhat able to defend this gold mine. But if he gets caught out here, it's a big, big problem. Hero Citizen gets caught. 3 seconds in a dream there for the TheMista, as I imagine another citizen might get moved forward here. Another sky passage over onto this side and onto this side would be brutal for Rappel to deal with, because the TheMista is going to be able to take full map control, have the pincers, no gold mines able to get actually secured for the Rappel, as the Rappel is now stuck inside this position, dropping villages. These citizens on this top position here, caught out, low HP citizen there as well. That one can get easily targeted down, but Mista says, I'll leave you be. Picks off a couple of those Terma there as well. Not quite able to pick off the 2 HP citizen, as the army now moving forward. A whole bunch of hero Murmillos do get converted in onto this fight. He needs to take out the Karabalista there as fast as possible, diving after the Satyr, but the Karabalista doing so much damage. All the heroes fall there, and the rest of this army for the Rappel, with heavy archers coming through as well to boot. This is too much for the Rappel to deal with, as the TheMista cleans that army up. The citizens falling. The advantage absolutely gigantic. And Rappel is behind on citizens. He's behind on military. He's behind on tech. What can he do now? A castle, a palace coming up in the center of the map, as this citizen might get spotted by the TheMista and might alert. Well, he already knows that he's over here. But now the Mista can just make his way over here. He can actually come up to this position and pop over here with another sky passage. Doesn't really need... Does he have 4? He's only got 3 sky passages, so he can put one over here, no problems. As the citizens finish up on this gold mine. This gold mine is now the problem. Over onto this side of counter barracks going to be coming up. And the Mista rides over here, ready to take out every little bit of citizen remaining. And Rappel's chances of rebuilding his army up for one last fight do not look all that good. Now, the one saving grace here, it's a small saving grace, but the one saving grace here is Terma aren't very good in this stage of the game. But the Caraballister are, and there's no Terma left to take the Caraballister out. The Satyr are. So what are you going to do? The citizens making their way to the gold mine. Rappel trying to fight his way through. Yet again, perfect control from the Mista to take out all those hero catapulties. None of the Satyr falling here. The citizens on these berries are getting shanked down, but he manages to keep the majority of those alive. The Terma in an amazing choke point here with that military barracks. The palace also coming in to help out. And there is just too much advantage here for the Mista. As the Rappel continuing to try and fight, but that there, ladies and gentlemen, is the game. And the Mista takes it beautifully here. It was a very rocky road here for this first game. But in reality, was there ever a doubt? I'm just kidding. Very, very close. But Rappel almost managed to break. I think if he caught the deconstruction on this sky passage, for example, picked up a couple of citizens, he probably delays that heroic age, and he's probably in a much better position. This fight up on this left corner, I mean, take a look at this post-game here. Look at how little difference this military resource count was for the entirety of this game. And I mean, resource differential, Rappel is just in front for the entirety of the game. And you got to ask the question, how did the Mista get himself to the heroic age before him? And I think the answer is simple. Sky passages. He's able to fix his economy such that he has perfect macro to get to the heroic age in that moment. Because you take a look at this all resource differential. This is the heroic age for the Mista. He clicks it right here. Rappel, he's not behind. He's barely behind on resources. It's like 400 differential here. Instead of spending all these resources on units, going to the heroic age, he's probably in a really good spot. But he didn't have the right resources. Take a look at this, 15 minutes and 30 seconds into the game. Food. Didn't have the food. Gold. He had the gold. That's the difference. It's tiny. And of course, then the control from the Mista just out of this world to finish him off. But let's jump back over to the draft and see what they're going to pick for game number 2. So we are going to be going in onto Ghost Lake, and it is going to be a Poseidon versus Shenong affair. A Poseidon versus Shenong affair. All right. I'm not exactly sure what's going on here. Are they in game? No. All right. We're going to be having just a little bit of a wait on this one. So let's take a little look-see at this. So in this matchup, we've actually seen 0 wins for Poseidon. It looks like 0 wins. So this is going to be a little bit of a hashtag statistical advantage for the Rapple who has the Shenong here. I think I like this matchup for Poseidon. I don't know what you guys are talking about. This matchup's fine for Poseidon. Ares does well. I would no. Hermes is always the way to go. You have to have the threat. Hermes is so good. Nothing beats Hermes. Well, oh, I need to do this stuff as well. Here we go. I can keep myself busy. So first game was a victory for the Oranos and a loss for the Kronos. I'll put a little 1 here as well so you guys can see what happened later. And game 2 is Poseidon versus Shenong. I feel like because these guys have played together so much, they know each other's tendencies quite a lot. Now, to some degree, this is a bonus, and on other degrees is a negative. So what TheMista knows is he knows in his head what he's played with the Rapple. And maybe he thinks, okay, I know Rapple wants to pick Shenong or pick Noir on this map, right? That's what Rapple's been doing through this tournament. Maybe he's been like, well, we haven't played Poseidon yet. So if we haven't played a matchup, then that's something that he can use to his advantage. And on the flip side, Rapple could do the same thing back at TheMista. If he knows TheMista hasn't played a specific matchup, then he can go, all right, well, let's go for that matchup if I've played it. Type thing. All right. While we're waiting here as well, let me jump over to this little thing and I'll be back in a very short amount of time. ladies and gentlemen, we come back now. Winners bracket semi-finals 1-0 for TheMista. Currently and still undefeated. He's going to be playing some Poseidon for us in this game. This is a god that he started off Age of Mythology Retold loving. We haven't seen him playing it recently, but we know how good he is with this god. His opponent, Rappel, taking it to TheMista in the first game. He says, no, I'm not going to be scared of you, mate. I am... Well, he probably didn't say mate. He probably said this in Greek to some degree. I'm not going to be scared of you, mate. I'm taking it to you. I'm going to Chronos rush you. See what you can do. And then Mr. says, yeah, I see. He probably also uses this accent as well, right? Yeah, I see ya, but I can also do all that stuff better than you. And then, oh dear. All right, well, I guess we'll go to game number 2. As we're now watching a Shenong versus Poseidon game. There's a lot of interesting ideas here. So for the first one, Rappel could drop some farms down on this silo. It's a perfectly placed silo for double farms to protect his villagers from any sort of harassment. He's dropping a temple super quickly because he knows, well, TheMista likes to rush. A very nice fast advance, Centaur in his main base, super hard to deal with. How do you deal with it? Well, you get yourself out some Pioneers. What about the Atalanta? How do you deal with that? Well, you got to get yourself out some Dow Swordsmen or some Halberdier or something. So, early pressure coming the wayside of the Rappel. He's actually deciding for a 2 Kwafu approach, which to me seems to be the most solid approach here for China. In these sorts of high-level matches, in these sorts of like situations where it's fast advance or and pressure or die, you have to get going. You have to defend yourself. It's a slightly later advance than I would have expected here from the Rappel. I was expecting 1 villager faster, but it's not going to be that big of a problem, as we do have over here already the Theseus out. And let's have a quick little look-see at the relics on the map. Eye of Ornlu, huge relic for the Shenong player. You don't want to let them have this. Makes those fire archers way too strong to deal with. Oseberg Wagon over here. A nice one for the late game. Probably not going to be seeing that be that effective or that impactful in this one, though. And we might see a really long game here develop. It's been known to happen. Poseidon likes the late game. So does Shenong. Hecate's Torch over here. God Power recharge time going down, and the cost of the God Powers, recast of the God Powers going down, and Shirang with the wall regeneration, hit points of 10 per second. As the classical age comes through, Centaur is out and will immediately make its way over into the Rappel's base. As a couple of these goats here they've got a little bit of a rave going on here. They're look, let's not talk about it. More Pioneers starting to come out as the Cheongchis is going to be looking for a little something. And we will be seeing a very, very early Earth Wall from the Rappel to just say, I don't want any pressure. Just leave me alone. He could have Earth Walled maybe on this house and protect this wood line a little bit better. But he just wants the entirety of his base nice and safe. And we do see a very quick town center here for TheMista. So, Rappel picks off the Katoskavos. He's going for his town center, it looks like as well. Lots of income coming in. It's double gold mine, Ghost Lake. So the second town centers are generally the approach agreed upon by the top level players. As the Centaur can actually try and deal with this Cheongchi. Funnily enough, the special attack is sort of the strength of the Centaur here, because it has a 100% accuracy. You can't miss with it. So at the very least, every time that special attack is up, there will be, was it 18 damage? Yeah, 18 damage on that attack, or pierce damage. So the Cheongchi can get some scouting in, but it will eventually go down, as the town center now going to be coming up for the Rappel. So after the early game is sorted here, we could kill that caribou right underneath the town center. Anyways, after the early game is sorted out, Rappel is a tiny bit behind because the town center finishes first here for TheMista. It's not And it's not a big enough disadvantage to mean anything. But it's a tiny, tiny advantage for the Mista to squeeze a lot out of. So it's going to be something like 60 resources a minute, maybe 100 resources a minute, or something like that for a while here for it to actually come through. As opposed to if we got the town center up a little bit faster. If Rapple did. But Rapple has also got access to Kwafu, which will keep him in a very competitive space there for the gold. And now you have to ask the next question. Is it going to be a stable? Are you going for Hippias raids? As I say it, it does drop. So, do I go for Halberdier here, or do I try and grab this gold mine nice and fast? Do I try and grab this food? As the Pegasus now comes in, and they can look at the Mista and seeing exactly what he's going to be spotting here. He sees these two Kwafu over on this spot. All of this information is something you can kind of use, right? You come through, you see Kwafu over here. Okay, that's a weak point. I see villages potentially over here. That's a weak point. Okay, in the main base, what's he got? There's no buildings. Okay, probably going to be a fast heroic of some sort, it looks like. So we can get a little bit of pressure on. Can't really confirm or deny anything here. There is one military camp, as well as the Atalanta manages to pick off one Pioneer. You really don't want to be losing these guys. The amount of value you get out of them is it's an invaluable unit there for the Sky Lanterns. Meanwhile, Hippias now going to be moving their way over and to harass this. And behind this, it's a classic Misterism. Is that a thing? Can we make it a thing? A Misterism is build a couple of units and then do something else. Makes it seem like he's going heavy on the raids. Not, he's just putting light pressure on and he's going to be getting to the heroic age. The Halberdier comes through, trying to poke down that Hippias there as best as possible. But now a Centaur coming through just to min-max this damage. Another military camp coming in from the Rapple as he is having quite a lot of issues dealing with just a tiny amount of units here. He does have to get himself out quite a bit. He does have 2 Cheongchi here, which could be a big help. Of course, there is the big problem of the Atalanta. But he can heal these up underneath this position, so it's not really that big of a deal. And I honestly wouldn't be surprised to see the Mista look to try and do something similar to what Soup did to be in a previous series today, which is just get a forward fortress up. Not as good as Hades doing because there's no Sentinels, but still an option there. But it actually looks like what Mista's plan is. He goes, all right, we're in a boom war. Probably not going to get a gold staff anytime soon. Let's just get economy in. Shaft mine. Bowsaw. What are you going to do if you're the Rapple here? How are you going to put damage? How are you going to inflict damage back onto the Poseidon for these Halberdiers? Well, attacking over here is a good idea. Attacking on maybe this gold mine or in the main base here on these chickens is a good idea. There's a lot of different weak points here. But Rapple, he needs a lot of food income to be chasing this heroic age. And there's going to be Aphrodite, which is going to be Curse, which means he can just drop the Curse down on these units if he feels like he needs to. As the army comes forward, Hoplites getting revealed, as well as the Toxotes. As the Pioneers trying to charge up to that Centaur, but great control yet again there from the Mista, keeping everything alive and out of reach here. There's the Javelineers coming in. Be able to take out that lone Toxote, or those 2 Toxotes. There's more going to be coming through, but at this point, Kurtz gets dropped. Pigs gets claimed. Can send those back home. And all of a sudden, Rapple is caught out in the middle of the map with not very much. Turns around trying to take out that Atalanta, or at least getting a little bit of damage done. The Dow Swordsman is pretty much dead here anyways. So may as well get a couple of shots off as you run. And Rapple is now sort of, I wouldn't say he's stuck in the classical age. He can stop building units here and go next stage. But you also have to be concerned about a whole bunch of other stuff coming as the Nemean Lion charges after the villagers here now. Great control, great reaction from Rapple. Pulls back quickly as the Halberdier ends up going down. Centaur does get cleaned up there as finally the Pioneers can get into range. And the Nemean Lion will simply just pull back, but this gives Mista so much time. Mr. here, he's bought himself shaft mine, shaft mine and bowsaw here. So his economy is gigantic. His economy is absolutely huge at this point in the game, as compared to what Rappel's is. Even though Rappel's in front on villager count, it doesn't matter. It's such a big boost. You've got 11 villagers on wood. You've got 16 on gold. Add an extra 20% to those, and now you've got, well, you got like an extra 2 villagers on both of these. So there's no advantage for the Rappel. And also, when Rappel goes next age, Rushall comes through. That means he's going to have Idle Town Center, which basically give Mr. even more of an advantage here. Nonetheless, Rushall's on the way, and we do have a pre-queued Hephaestus. So, funnily enough, we might actually see... I mean, if Rappel can defend the timing of Hephaestus, there is that angle for the... Oh god, that's sneak from the Hippias. From that Osberg wagon for some very nice cavalry advantage here as the Quaffle going down. Farm? Never the farm. Why does no one ever put the farm down in this situation? Unless he does catch out these... oh, no, he doesn't. Mister's out of there. Great sneak around the corner there to get in and get out. Not losing any units. Max value for the Mister as Rappel. Still looking for what he can do. Now the Shenong farm's coming down onto this position. No real problems with that. But Hephaestus now clicked up before Rushall is finished. So this is very, very tough if you're in Rappel's shoes here. The question is, do you try and chase this Mythic Age? Do you go for a whole bunch of units to try and put pressure on to hit just as the Mythic Age hits? Or what? At the moment, he's just sitting playing defense because obviously there's those Hippias that he's scared of. But Mister is making it seem like there's way more units than there actually are. 4 Hippias coming and raiding you on a Quafu over here. Well, that's not that big of a deal. Main base now getting hit. Earthwall will take a very long time to go down here. Though if you don't react, it will go down. Halberdiers will be enough there. Meanwhile, golden apples to come through. Heavy cavalry. Lord of horses. Medium infantry. Medium range soldiers. Get everything under the sun. And why not? And Rappel, he looks like he's going for the approach of let's try and get a whole bunch of damage done in the heroic age. He doesn't want to just try and chase the mythic age, which I think might have been the safer idea. But there is a big timing here because you lose the... Well, there's a timing in the fact that Hephaestus comes in and the armory upgrades take a little bit to come in. But and all that spend on resources is sort of an issue there as well. As the militia pop out of the temple. Relic does get dropped here. I have Ornlu, pick that one up, take it home. Jumps in, picks off one Tox Odie here. Is now Rappel trying to get a little bit of damage done as the Nemean Lion pulls back. Plenty Volt comes in and Mr. will say ceasefire. This does give Fey Beast. Fey Beast is now on the table. However, you just get yourself out your heroes and it's not that big of a deal. So long as you've got them in the right position, it's never going to be that big of a deal to deal with it. So we also got the Polyphemus coming out of this town center. Rappel is really looking for all the pressure over here. Look, Hippias just sitting, waiting, watching. Maybe looking for a bit of a raid or killing off some straggler units, some reinforcements. And Mr. is trying to hold on here for as long as he possibly can. Look at these bronze weapons, 20 seconds to come through, and then it's going to be like a 30-second research time for full iron. Armory upgrades for Rappel. Doesn't really have any. Fey Beast onto that backline. That's exactly what you want, but the Polyphemus pops out. Doesn't hit the special the right way there, but it doesn't matter as they do end up falling here. Rappel has got the military advantage. in a big way here, though. Mr. is in trouble as he is pulling back into his town center. There's no real advantage here onto this town center with these Dow swordsmen that have got themselves 46% pierce armor. Rappel is going to continue throwing units in here as the Polyphemus comes through, smacking the Tau. Nope, does not smack the Tautier there. And he's going to start eating up villages. The villager differential has started to look very, very juicy. Lots of units over here trying to get forward here as the watchtowers does come through. Just one Polyphemus is such a big help on this spot. Now iron is in. The unit quality for the Mista is through the roof. But the quantity is not quite in just yet. Now the question is, did Rappel do enough damage? Plenty Volt, that's worth 12 villages. So, villager differential, advantage, Rappel. Economic upgrades, he's got himself everything he needs. Coming up here, picking off villages, causing problems. The only issue here is a timing issue, which is Mr. getting out a good amount of units here and forcing a fight. Rappel can't really take a fight if it's kind of equal numbers, because the unit quality is too much. As the Tautier does end up falling over here. Have to charge into the main base. Got to be very careful here. Mister's house going to be falling onto this side. Nope. Falling. As these Kwafu look to actually be going for the town center right under the nose of TheMista. A couple of units over onto this side, having an eye on this gold mine. You see the walls up over here already for the Rappel. He's got so much gold in the bank, and he's going up for bronze. So at the very least, yes, it will be full iron, but at the very least, it's full bronze versus full iron. That's not the end of the world, but military differential here being equal, that's scary. Rappel needs to get himself to the mythic age here for full iron, because sooner or later, it's going to be champion full iron for the Mista. Mister's short a couple of houses here. He's got to get those up. Trying to put them up into his main base. Pulling back over onto this side. Trying to deal with those halberdies. Can't really take that fight there as the gold situation over here. Looking okay. 1,000 gold remaining. Plenty of time here to get these units up. As the Mista has looked like he's held for the time being. But taking this fight, those Dow are so good versus pretty much everything that's in this fight. The only thing that's not really worth having here are these fire archers. A couple of javelineers will be coming through to help out as Mr. is trying to do this micro back, doing a great job of it. And you can see this iron is just too much. And Rappel has miscalculated how much he could continue pushing here. Could have pulled back, could have tried to get mythic gauge. Probably been in a good spot because there's no real way to kill him here. There's too much stuff all over the map. Of course, the Polyphemus and the Colossus are a big deal, but Rappel can't really take a fight anymore. Even at full population, he can't take a fight. Even underneath the ballet, he probably can't take a fight. He needs the next age. Maybe with range soldiers, maybe with perfect counter units, maybe with really good micro, he might be able to win. As the villagers on this top do get caught out. Up onto this side, though. Polyphemus is in to cause some problems. You can... Oh, there's that nice terracotta riders there to send those packing. As the Toxotes over here getting somewhat caught out. Good shoot and scoot micro there as the Colossus comes to the front there to start tanking. There's another terracotta riders coming through here for the Rappel. But Mr. is pulling further and further ahead. That villager differential is now going to start getting closed in on as Rappel has hit full pop on the villagers. There's no way up from here apart from starting a trade route. There is another Fey Beasts. That is a good call there. Fey Beasts could be used again. Try and take out the heroes because you got nothing here. Try and take out the hero first and then drop Fey Beasts. In fact, with the Polyphemus out of position now, perfect opportunity for this secondary. Though there's a ceasefire available for the Mista. Though, does he want to use it? Looks like the answer is no, he doesn't want to use it. Feels like he's not going to take that much damage there. But the army here of the Mista is melting. The army is melting as Rappel does manage to push back ever so slightly. Polyphemus is down. Rappel's still trying to take these fights. He needs a Mythic Age. He stopped production. Pulling back right now. A couple of Halberdier in queue. All of this fighting is kind of what the Mista wants, but now he doesn't have the numbers in. Makes things very, very difficult. As the Javelineer to take out the Toxotes, there's Champion Hippias, there's Champion Toxotes, only heavy Hypaspist. But the Dow Swordsman seemingly blocking nicely. The Fire Archers as well here to take out those Hypaspist and all the other good stuff. So Mista has to retreat. Now, problem for Rappel is all of a sudden he doesn't have the gold. For whatever reason, he's got idle villages up here, unfortunately. Rappel doesn't have the gold. He's about to have it. He's about to go next stage. This is going to be a lot of help. Huang Di. I love this move here from the Jutsu. Get over here. Hit the gold mine. This is one of the best usages of this bird. If you can get 2 in, you can like erase an entire pack of gold, pack of villages on a gold mine. I would know it's happened to me before. Mista is paying attention. Pulls those villages quickly. He drops that special to give himself just a little bit more armor on this one. Villages over here do pull back. And unfortunately for Rappel, the fortress is there. And that's going to be enough to hold. Mista is back up to his full population yet again. So ready to take another fight. Rappel doesn't need to fight here. He's got a ballet. Pull back through the ballet. Wait for Mythic Age. Get himself the upgrades in. Garrisoning through to get himself into a nice defensive position. Mista cannot take this fight. He needs some siege. The ballet coming up over onto this side. 3 seconds remaining. That's a big help there. But there's no real way to get over and support this. The Quafu can sort of repair it back up, I guess. And now we are actually seeing a little bit of a transition here into heavy white horse cav. As the Halberdier split off here, trying to keep this up. Is there any Masons? No Masons on the way, but doesn't matter as the Halberdier are enough to scare those Hippias away for the time being. This isn't the last gold mine for Rappel, but it's kind of getting there as Curse gets dropped down. Pulling back through the ballet yet again. The only problem here is for Huang Di is 1, you have a lot of upgrades you need to get. 2, the dragon. There's a lot of heroes out, so it's not going to be that much value. And 3, Mista's got resources up the wazoo. He's got 4k wood in the bank. He's got nearly a k gold in the bank. Jutsu coming in. This is going to be somewhat of an assistance on this position. Mista trying to squeeze this all out as the Yinglong is in. Little bits of damage onto this, over onto this side though. The Polyphemus to come through. Fortress coming up. The fact of the matter is there is a gold mine on the bottom of the map, so it's not the end of the world there. As this Jutsu... Whoop. Hello? Wait, did he... Hello? I didn't even know you could do that. Huh? How? I thought... Don't you need an upgrade for that? I thought you needed an upgrade for that. He doesn't have the tech, guys. He's not in the right age to have the tech. Please explain. Anyways, upgrades all starting to come through. Nice little raid attempt from Mista, but a better defense from the Rappel. He's playing an incredible macro game here as the Fortress coming up on the front for the Mista. Looking to put some pressure over this gold mine is so important. A trade route here for Rappel getting started is really the next idea, and he has done so. So no real threat here to get gold starved, which does mean I was kind of alluding to it. We might be seeing a very very late game happening here. Toxotes, Hypaspist, Theseus, Atalanta, Petropoli sieging forward. Very tough to break this. Axe carts probably needed here. Very, very powerful at this stage of the game. But the upgrades for the Rapple, that's the most important thing. Let's have a look. He's gotten all of his unique Huang Di upgrades. Look at these Dao Swordsmen, 182 HP. They've got themselves that bloodline, Liju's Silk, Imperial Orders, Zhuan Yuan's bloodline. It's all in. He's just waiting on Champion Infantry. Also, upgrades for full iron, as Mr. says, no. We're not going to have this. Let me just get to the Titan Age, and I'm going to keep on taking my advantage here. On the other side here for the Rapple, he's short wood. Getting himself his boiling oil. Seeks for the Titans to come through. Hippias over on this side looking to try and break in as well. TheMista bringing that Yinglong down the bottom. Towers going up all over the place as this one jutsu to lock everything else off. Towers up everywhere at this point to start looking to defend. As the Yinglong does get a little bit of damage done onto these champion Hippias. Rapple says, let me adjust the war here. But TheMista one step ahead of the whole ordeal. With how many guard towers do you want? He says yes to how many guard towers. The Titan Gate is now on the way. Does a Titan beat this Shenong in the late game? Ooh. I imagine Rapple is just going to be wanting to get his own Titan out here as fast as he possibly can. Town center getting torn down though. Even with all these towers in, the villagers will pull back over. He's got himself fortified town centers and architects, so it's not an easy position to break through. Lots of units falling on that side there. Meanwhile, the Petropoli still pushing through on this side, so even though Rapple is putting pressure elsewhere, he hasn't dealt with the imminent threat here. As a Yinglong flying back in, going to be able to actually win this fight super hard. And because TheMista is now getting himself out of Titan, his income is struggling. And also, let's take a look at the market, the trade route. Only 8 donkey caravans here. On the flip side, there's only 7 mechanical ox caravans. So both players have not quite got their trade route sorted. With this town center going down is not something here that I think Rapple can really deal with. As the Hippias charging over onto this side. Lots of villagers up on that wood line there that can get taken out. As the Dao Swordsman returning back over here, but TheMista defending this so beautifully. Just towers everywhere on that spot. And yes, the Dao Swordsman, they've got 51% pierce armor, but guard towers? Please. 28.8 pierce damage. Have a look at the damage. 20 kills and climbing. Town center falls. Rapple trying to get his own Titan Gate out. If this is spotted by TheMista, he will literally just send his Titan straight there and put a stop to any sort of Titan shenanigans from the Rapple. Yeah, like axes. The axe carts would break through this position. That's what he needs, without question. Titan now in for TheMista as he is ready to go. Ready to put pressure in onto the Rapple. Rapple is pulling back everything over here. We have an Imperial Academy now coming in. Advanced fortifications to come through from TheMista as, of course, one of the most powerful technologies in the game makes these fortresses turn from hitting hard into hitting like a truck. They got to 22.5 DPS. That's 67.5 damage per second there. Or damage per hour, I should say. As the Titan coming up on this back corner here. And this might just get unveiled immediately. Do we see a Pegasus anywhere searching? I don't see it. The Titan over here is just going to be cleaning up the towers and all that other good stuff. Castle falls over here. The ballet falls. The villagers, God, that's a lot of peasants onto this position here. Of course, as Shenong, as China, you do get more surface area for your Titan gates. With 65 seconds remaining, Titan is on the wrong side of the map. Do see an attempt here for TheMista to come in with a fortress here to take this all out. The Yinglong, 60 HP and a dream to somehow deal with this Titan. One thing to remember is, I could be wrong on this, but I think the unique technology of Shenong does affect the Titan because it's technically a myth unit, so it gets a lot more HP in. There's random military academies coming through over onto this bottom side, and TheMista is slowly going to be converting this advantage now. He's got himself a 4th talent center. He can slowly start working up to a 2nd plenty vault here for even more advantage. The Petropolis here will not be able to deny this Titan gate. You have to take it. You actually have to take it completely out here. And 5 seconds from popping, not going to be enough as we see how many champion Hatarois. Well, a lot. The Hatarois are going to be coming in. A whole bunch of sages out, as well as the Wenzhong. Now, somehow Yinglong is alive with 40 HP still. Please explain. As Rappel is trying to deal with all of this over here, you have to remember his trade route got kind of obstructed by all of the Titan Gate building shenanigans here. Now these Hataroi, I think the reason for all these Hataroi is because they have bonus damage versus myth units. 2x versus myth units. So that's a great counter for the Titan. 32,200 here on that Titan. I think he does get affected by it. There it is. So an extra 15% HP on that one. Compared to the 2,800 or 28,000 for TheMista. As effectively, what Rappel needs to do to bring this game back, so to speak, to convert this position back to an equality, is he needs to win the Titan fight. He needs to trade the Titan for a talent center for that position there. And then he needs to secure that position. That's the only way for him to get equality here at this point. As the heroes come through, slowly starting to limit that advantage. They're down to 30,000 already. As the Titan says, hang on. Did you know you can walk over this earth wall and just kill it? He's got a, I think it works on the earth wall. Nonetheless, the Wenzhong coming through. All the Tyroi in the world as both players playing chicken with each other's Titan. You want to just find that advantage somewhere here and take it to the bank. Nice, over onto this side. Mr. is role-playing as if these Satire have bonus damage versus buildings. In this case, it doesn't really matter. Rappel getting himself architects, but too little too late it seems. As the Mister's Titan just sitting back waiting, and now he says, all right, now it's time to take the fight. Let's go. I got Hataroi. I got everything. Yes, you got a Wenzhong. Yes, you got all those sages. It's not going to matter. You lost your town center. You lost your villages. You've lost your trade route. As the Mister and the Rappel's Titan duking it out. Another curse gets dropped down. The heroes getting cleaned up by a whole bunch of militia here. Champion militia. Might not seem like they're that strong, but they will be able to deal with all of those sages there. After all is said and done, it's looking like 8,000 remaining versus 10,000. The Mister's Titan is winning, and there will be no way to convert this position back into equality now. Having to deal with a mini Titan here, 4,800 HP. All the fortresses, towers coming up all over the place for the Mister and Rappel. A valiant effort, but just not quite able to convert. I mean, a million things can be said. A million things can be analyzed here. But I think this one comes down to one specific moment. Rappel found the advantage. He caught the Mister inside of this kind of quasi-fast mythic with a handful of units. caught him inside of it, hit the timing beautifully, put TheMista behind. And then what? And then he kept trying to force the issue. He got the damage he needed. He needed to get to the Mythic Age behind that, get himself sorted out, and then he would have been in a good spot. Unfortunately, after that fight, he started trading poorly, was not able to quite get himself stabilized to get to the Mythic Age. And when he did get to the Mythic Age, well, Mr. had already set up everything on this side of the map and made it very, very tough for Apple to catch up on that technology. You can see this here from TheMista. He finds so many advantages, resource advantage through the roof, but this is all just simply from those early hippiest raids and everything else, and squeezes out this advantage. But it was completely eradicated. This resource advantage was completely eradicated here. 4,000 down to 1,800. If he went to the Mythic Age in this spot, maybe that would have been a completely different story here for this game. But TheMista remaining undefeated. We'll move into game number 3 and see what they're going to have cooking for us. Alrighty then, we're now moving in onto the map Anatolia. And it's going to be a Tsukiyomi versus Hades affair here. This is a matchup I haven't seen. I really like this one for Tsukiyomi. I must say, in my own games, if I get Tsukiyomi or I get Susanoo on Anatolia, it always feels good. It always feels good. Oh. My God, guys, I have to make an announcement right now. Between Twitch and YouTube, we have hit over 1,000 viewers. Congratulations, you guys. Age of Mythology, man. Like, this game doesn't get any better. This is just what you can expect. These two players playing out of their mind here. Absolutely playing out of their mind. What a time to be alive. Let's have a little look-see here at this map. Well, at this matchup and see what people have been having, what's been going on here. So far, we've only had really one game of Tsukiyomi versus Hades in this tournament. It did go the wayside of the Hades. It wasn't on this map. I don't believe. I can't actually remember exactly what the map or the game was. But I think this is a really interesting one. Let me walk you through a couple of really big power points here for both of these gods. So we already know Greek is good on this map because everyone plays Greek. So clearly Greek just has that experience here, and it just and that in of itself is a big advantage. Just having experience on this map and a wide array of matchups is really, really helpful. Japan, what does Japan have? Specifically Tsukiyomi and Susanoo. These guys have got Inari Okami, which is that god with Swampland and Zurikumo, and most importantly, a little known technology known as Ivory Netsuke. What's the hardest part about this map? Getting gold starved. So how do you circumvent that? Well, you make a whole bunch of myth units. Whether you make the Honengyo on the water, you make the Umibozu on the water, you make the Tengu on the land, the Oni on the land, the Onmuraki on the land, the what's it called? The Shinigami on the land. Whether you make any of those units, it doesn't matter. None of them cost gold. So you're just generating gold from them. So it's a big, big advantage. Also, I want to say huge thanks to everybody who's... Oh my God. Abaxi, thanks for the gifted subs, my dude. Everybody who's subbed through the event and all that other stuff means the world to me. I know I'm not acknowledging him while we're going. We're trying to focus on the games, but you guys are absolutely legendary. Just waiting for these guys to get kicked off here for the time being. I think TheMista is he's in his smoke breaks. Alrighty. So, I mean, what else can we say about this matchup apart from there's just a lot of options here. And it's very, very tough, I think, for Hades to deal with all of the options. Because he's only got 3 heroes or maybe 4 heroes if he gets there. If he gets to that 4th hero, it becomes a lot easier. Let me have a little sip of water here, guys. Questions about the chat from the chat. Where's this prize pool come from? It does come from World's Edge. World's Edge sponsors all of, but pretty much every single Age of Empires tournament you see is sponsored by World's Edge. There's a fairly small niche that are funded by players or event organizers. I funded the Challengers League for this event, so the $1,000 prize pool has come out of my tournament fund, so to speak. But yeah. That's the story where that's concerned. Nonetheless, the players are in. They are getting ready. They're doing all the good things. They're on the map, Anatolia. Okay. Let me just one sneaky. What if you send 2 villagers off straight away? Build a Miko out immediately on this map. Just hear me out on this. This could be crazy. You build a Miko straight away. You send 2 villagers to both sides of the water immediately straight up. One with a Netscaler to speed the villager up. And we just go for immediate villager shanks. just to deny the docks. And you get your dock out. You got your healing. There's no way to deal with it. This is standard? Oh, my bad. I guess we'll have to wait and see if it's standard or not. This seems very, very strong. I don't want to see a 3-minute game, but I'm just saying. And what if the perfect counter to this is the Zeus player doing a 3-minute advance time? Ford Temple, Minotaur in the main base of the Tsukiyomi player with the Heracles. Am I theory crafting too hard here? Is this too much? Is this too much? It might be. It might be too much. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. All right, guys. I'm just giddy. After this matchup as well, guys, don't go nowhere because we do have another one coming up. It's the lower side of the winners bracket semifinals. It's going to be Mosca and Tunison matching up, 2 incredibly powerful players who have really pushed the envelope to the nth degree in terms of stylistic differences. So it's a bit of a style clash, and it's going to be some craziness, some excitement, and all the other good stuff. But nonetheless, game number 3 here. TheMista still to drop a game. Will this be his first? Find out next time on Dragon. I'm just kidding. Let's go. Here we go. Game number 3. Both of these players, even though it's 2-0 here, have put up a ridiculous advantage. Sorry, a ridiculous series thus far. It's been incredibly close. been in within an inch of a loss here for the Mista. We're all holding out for just one. He's spawning in the top. He's playing as Tsukiyomi. Rappel on the bottom here. He's put up a good fight thus far. He really has. We've already seen one insane matchup of Hades versus Japan on this map. But it was Amaterasu. This is now Tsukiyomi. It's a little bit of a different approach. We do have the Kitsune getting involved over here with the nibbles. To some degree, you can just ignore this. We see a double dock actually coming down from the Rappel on the bottom side. This is the same side that the Mista's over here as well, so not the biggest of issues. You got to be somewhat careful here because this Kitsune can actually just kill this village, you know? It's got 30 HP left. It's doing a grand total of 1 hack damage per second. So yeah, this villager can die. Rappel here. Going to pull back to his main base. I think he's going to be okay. Just decides to have a little bit of a time. Let's have a quick look at this. What's going on here? What does it look like to be nibbling a villager? Get back here! Oh, okay. Never mind. We're going elsewhere. Alrighty. Meanwhile, over onto the top side, Rappel, a 3rd dock already. The fastest 3 docks ever. Meanwhile, a villager just simply going to be coming up here for the Mista to get his own docks up, getting his fishing ships going, and all the other good stuff. Check out some relics to see if there'll be any sort of advantage. You've got that building line of sight +8 here for Head of Orpheus. Over onto this side, there is the Girdle of Hippolyta. Hit points +10% there for the ranged soldiers. On the bottom side of the map there is that Hecate's Torch. Always nice for whomever picks it up. And finally, Gambantine Odin's Wand. This relic's big for the Mista, actually. As over onto this side, dock coming up for the Rappel as the Kitsune continues to nibble. Nom 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 nom. Like, funnily enough, if there was like 3 Kitsune here, I'm still thinking about crazy ideas. Just rushing out like a whole bunch of Kitsune here to deny docks and things like that. That seems wild to me. Never mind. I don't know. Nonetheless, the villagers come back. Shanks down. The Kitsune get out of here. The docks are all up now for the Rappel. He is going for the latest of advanced times here, though. So he's giving up all early game pressure to get these 4 docks down as fast as he humanly could. The Mista, on the other hand, he says it's time for a temple. He's gotten out a second Miko here. But I like this from the Rappel. There's no real rush for him. What does he have to play against? Early Jiragumo running into his base? I guess that's a little scary. But surely he can get to the next. It's a 5:30. This is a competitive advance time from the Rappel. I love this build from him. This is incredibly competitive. He's a little bit short on the fishing spots, but he can grab those out while he's advancing. No problems.
Nani?
The Miko going to drop a shrine over here as the favor income will slowly start coming through. But yes, there's no surprises here. Inari Okami is just so good for Tsukiyomi. I have to say, it's just such a strong god for Tsukiyomi. So we'll see what the plan is here as the Katoskopos hangs out. And he's just like, hello there, Jiragumo. I want to see you. I want to see where you're going. And we'll deal with this. This is something we see actually a lot on Anatolia from the Greek players. And it should be a standard for everyone who's got any like real scout. It's just figure out where your opponent's temple is. Get eyes on the Minotaur or eyes on the free myth unit or whatever. And make sure that they don't sneak that into your base and kill you off. Basically. As we've already got Aphrodite pre-queued. a market coming up for the Mista as well. The player who builds the market first wins, because they can sell themselves some food. But then again, the Mista is already at 500 gold, so I don't think this matters in the slightest. A couple of Bushi to come through just to defend himself. And also Volts of Erebus for the Rapple. Now the Juggernauts to come through as well for the Rapple, and Hachiman pretty cute. I'm not surprised to see Hachiman. Like, I do think that there's 100% an angle to go for Fujin here, but Hachiman is so good that, like, the fact you get that wood costing Tengu, you get the Shogun and all the other good stuff, makes perfect sense here. However, only three Miko does put a little bit of a stunt in the whole progress of this one. Meanwhile, a couple of ships out over onto this side. Going to be knocking a couple of fishing ships down. They have to pull back into the dock. And in the main base, Rapple already has a whole bunch of walls up here. Now, I guess one of the big advantages of Tsukiyomi here is the fact that your age ups are very, very quick. So he's going to be hitting the heroic age at a record speed, sub 8 minutes here. Whereas Rapple is halfway through, so an extra minute, 8:30 is going to be his advance time there on that one. The stable is up, so immediately going to be able to get himself a daimyo. And he drops the new moon onto the dock here, ladies and gentlemen. That's going to be heavy Wasen. That's going to be heavy boats. It's going to be the fishing ship boost. And he also now grabs himself Ivory Netscale, pre-queues it. And this is going to be a huge amount of value over here as the Juggernaut goes down. Fishing ship goes down. Over on this side, the Honengyo does get intercepted. You definitely don't want to take a fight until you have this, because it's just lost gold. It is just lost gold here. Has a couple more heavy Wasen coming through. And the other thing is, he gets that damage multiplier versus myth units as well, which is a big, big deal. There's more Honengyo going to be coming through. And that gold income is going to be something to take a watch for. Like, look at the gold income when that actual fight starts. This has got units on both sides. We do have already Artemis pre-queued here for the Rapple. He wants the fastest of mythic ages here. As Mr. is putting a lot of a stock in winning both sides of the water here. This can be a risky move, because, you know, your opponent, if he catches you out doing this, you can get gold starved a lot of the time. But like I said, with these myth units, with Ivory Netscape, might not be that big of a deal, as the Honengyo does end up going down, but so too does the Skylar. At the very least, it will be going down, as another Honengyo to join in the battle. Three-headed Skylar there. Not going to be able to get a huge amount of value. And everything over onto this side, struggling. We do see one hero unit in, actually, though. The Argo through to try and deal with this Honengyo down the bottom. There's still no fortress up for the Rapple, so even if he wants to go to the Mythic Age, he's not going to be able to. And the Rapple's dock getting targeted down all over the place, having issues with everything. The Argo doing a nice job of actually defending here, though. This is an incredibly powerful ship. 672 hit points. And right now, Rapple is basically idled on all of his fish. Units starting to accrue over here. He's got the medium Yumi Archers. He's got himself a couple of Tengu, Samurai. A little bit of a mishmash of everything on that side there. And Rapple looks like he has managed to pull himself back over onto this left side. Over onto this top side, though. More Honengyo to come through is more gold in the back pocket here for TheMista. As he will have to move forward. He will have to be looking for a castle in the center. There's still no fortress in. As Rappel just... I mean, he's now got the resources to put a fortress up. Did you want to walk forward and try and get one in the middle of the map? I don't think so. It's dangerous with this amount of units out for TheMista. Over on this side now, the Skylar getting pushed back as a couple more Honengyo to come through. I'm really not sure what this special attack even does. It's not that much. Into the main base, a couple of units coming through do get cursed here. So nice little force there from TheMista as he has to pull back. Getting his castle up to secure his gold mine in the middle. Makes perfect sense. But still no fort. Oh no, never mind, there is a fortress. Just needs a little bit more gold in. I don't know how much this earthquake is really going to be doing. Of course, it kills the town center. And maybe a couple of houses. He does get himself access to a Carcinos as well, which could be a nice help on the water. But he is just getting harassed every which way. Lots and lots of fishing ship idle times. Now, Mythic Age is coming through. The Argo to come back out. It's only 200 wood. Nice and cheap. Will he get it out in time, though? No, it gets cancelled. Units coming around over onto this side. It's... Oh, the Minotaur helps save the Tengu there as he headbutts him to safety. Actually, he might have jumped and got headbutted at the same time. I don't know. Nonetheless, Rappel pulling back. He's out of position ever so slightly. He's got the Sentinels. He's got the units. He's got plenty of defense here, but the problem is if he gets gold starved after all is said and done. Meanwhile, Okuninushi is pre-queued up for TheMista, but if he goes for that, Earthquake will be denying it. 90 seconds versus... Yeah, this is going to be... Earthquake is going to be through. Without question here. Mr. can buy himself some food if he wants to. Meanwhile, over on this side, has defended everything. He's got himself the heavy trireme. He's got everything he needs here, technologically speaking, but he's lost all of the fish on the left side. The TheMista has found a fairly significant advantage here. Doc's getting cleaned up over here as well as the Naginata Riders are going to town. Okuninushi is coming through, but I guess this is ready. Mr.'s town center is going to die. Does he have Masons, perchance? Nope. He does have Head of Orpheus. But that doesn't help. There's the Hoplites. Nemean Lions coming through. And Rappel is ready. He needs to get this done quickly. Of course, it's 90 seconds for Tsukiyomi's Mythic Age. As he charges through, Earthquake gets dropped down. Okuninushi does get denied here with that Earthquake. All the houses falling. And some very, very much needed revenge fire to come through as now Rappel can push out of his base and start looking for the next part of the game. Chimera raids are going to be brutal. Town center getting rebuilt here from TheMista. But the problem for the Rappel is he's got to get out onto the map and get this gold mine. Or get this gold mine over here. Charging forward with those Peltasts. Very dangerous. Straight into the clutches of those Naginata Riders. Doesn't lose anything. There is a restoration available. So forcing a fight here and clicking restoration isn't a terrible idea, especially with your opponent going Mythic Age. Meanwhile, over onto this side, the Chimera does get intercepted by the Shogun. Great play there from TheMista to catch that one out. Meanwhile, the second town center at the top now up as well for TheMista as he's trying to keep himself going here. He's lost a lot of houses. He's got to rebuild all of those here as fast as he possibly can. But then again, I mean, he does have a queue full of everything, so he wants the houses up as fast as possible, but not doing so. Meanwhile, over onto this side, though, the villagers on this gold mine do get spotted. So a perfectly well-orchestrated attack right now from Rappel as TheMista needs to get himself to safety. As the villagers all pull up to the top side. We do have very important upgrades. Shaft of the Plague pre-queued. The Favor not quite in just yet. Ukoninushi will bring with it basically full iron here. God, that's so many upgrades. He gets ballistics. He gets a burning pitch. He gets iron. He gets iron weapons, iron armor, bronze shields, and also the golden kite. If he drops that new moon down on the armory. Still pressure onto the top there, and he does go for it. So full iron in for the Mr. Rapple. On the other hand, no upgrades. Now, funnily enough, he could have gone for Hephaestus, and he would have also had full iron. As a Petropolis knocking down one of those gold mines there as the Naginata Riders searching around. You have the Onmuraki to start coming through, and also researching champion stables. I like that decision there. Oftentimes, you don't see Japanese players getting those technologies in. There goes the Swampland, and Rapple is just sitting inside of it. The Umibozu, with all that damage there, he's doing all that damage, all that area of effect damage, absolutely huge. Does manage to freeze it in place there, killing it off with the Perseus, but there's just nothing left here for the Rapple, and Mista manages to absolutely dominate that fight, and Rapple taps out. Mista remains undefeated going into the finals with some, simply put, insane Tsukiyomi play here. New Moon on the dock. Honengyo getting that Ivory Netsuke technology. Rapple put up a good fight to try and hold here. Hits the Earthquake on the town center, but just can't get any value from anything. Unfortunately, throwing away the Chimera to a Shogun just does not help out in the slightest. And, well, that's the story. Mista takes the dub. That's the series. We've got one more coming up for you. It will be Mosca versus Tunison. Don't you guys go nowhere. One more series for the day. We'll see how it goes. See you in the next one.